Hello and welcome to the Joy CEO podcast. I am so excited today to introduce you not only to the magnificent Stacey Hawkins, extraordinary chef, builder of a fabulous company. You're going to hear all about her, but she also happens to be one of my very closest and dearest friends.
I got the tea.
Yes. All the tea. If there were an Oprah and Gail combo in my life, that would be us. So I'm not sure which one of us Oprah and which one of us is Gail. It may change depending upon the day. But here we are. So for all of you out there, please meet my dear friend, the fabulous Stacey Hawkins.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It is an absolute honor and joy to be here with you. You know, I'm so proud of you and everything that's going on here. And the fact that we can put our brain power together is like, wow, it's going to be a great episode.
It is going to be a great episode. And before we dig into all the marvelousness of what we are going to talk about, I want to take us back to 2013.
Oh,
yes.
The origin story?
The origin
You're going to
story.
Share it?
I am going to share it because it's so powerful. So it was 2013. I had just been let go from the Coca-Cola company. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my life. And I had this passion to build workshops for women. Imagine, here I am,
Go figure.
All these years later, still having this passion. And in 2013, I wanted to put together a workshop for single mothers. I had been a single mother. I was in the trenches of it. I was slugging it out day in and day out. And I wanted to find other single mothers who were doing it too. And so I put together this workshop, and it was an excellent workshop. Where I failed miserably was in the marketing of it. So I put it on Facebook, which in 2013 was relatively new.
Yeah.
And 2 people signed up. One of them was Stacey. I charged all of $10 on a Friday night, and we got to the event, and I decided, how about we move this to the local wine bar and do our little workshop from there? And Stacey and I were instant friends.
BFFs, right from that.
From that moment, our lives have intertwined into a sisterhood. We raised our children together.
Yeah.
In fact, my son was the best man in her son's wedding 2 summers ago.
Right.
My husband officiated the wedding,
Yep.
and my other son was a groomsman. So we are so family as family can be without having been born into one another.
It's amazing, you know, how something like that can just spark joy. I mean, and that's what it's been. We have been on this journey of joy together. And I was standing right in this kitchen at that sink right there, and I came this close to not going. And I remember that year, as you often have said, you know, make a mantra. My mantra that year was, my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. And so I'm like, all right, wash the dishes, put on my big girl dress, and away I went. So, and I think the $10 check that I was supposed to give you actually got turned into a glass of wine. So It was win-win.
There was a refund that night, torn up.
It was all good.
Torn up. But what did come out of that was now 12 years of friendship. We've been on vacations together. We've watched each other at the lowest of our lows. I mean, snot hanging cries, the ugly cries. We've also been there for each other at some of the highest highs. Stacey was there at my wedding. You know, Stacey was there when things got rough with the boys and I left my job at Campbell's. You know, Stacey was there when things were hard with being a stepmom and I didn't know how to be a stepmom. And, you know, Stacey would probably tell you I might have shown up when she had a breakup with a boyfriend that I was doing a happy dance that there was a breakup. And, you know, so it's all of those things that life brings us together and we get to do together. And it's so much richer when you find a friend that you can do it together with.
It's so true. And, it's really great. One of the things that I love most about our friendship is it goes so many levels, not only personal, but professional as well. We have been instrumental in building one another's businesses because we are on the same level, not in that we think alike. And I think that is really what makes us work so well together is we really do come at things from very different perspectives and are able to be real with each other and tell it like it is. And that is a joy and a privilege and sometimes hard,
Yes.
but it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. And it's brought me so much joy. So it's all good.
Stacey even had a season where she came to me and said, I need to pay you for you to actually be my coach.
I did.
And we got through that period of time. And let's go into who Stacey is as an entrepreneur, because her story of what she has built is so incredible. There is somebody out there who's going to listen to this story and say, holy smokes, I can do this too. So let's get into it. All those years ago, you're in your kitchen and something happens to you.
Yeah. So I had a high-powered professional career before this in executive consulting for businesses. And I was burnt out, just absolutely burnt out. I just had my second child, my daughter, who's now 24, and had said, I can't do this anymore. And I had gained a lot of weight during my pregnancy. I was, a good 100 pounds more than you see me now. And I said, something's got to give. And so what I started to do was taking cooking classes and learning how to be able to use flavor, herbs, spices, seasonings, some oils, different salts, like different things to be able to get great flavor out of food, but without a lot of calories. And so that I could really nurture myself, provide good nutrition to my kids, because that was really important as well. Like, kids could be on chicken nuggets and hot dogs if you let them be. And I was determined not to let that happen. Not that I was crazy about it, but it's like, okay, what you put in is what you get out. And I wanted to raise kids who not only shared my love of food, but who were really well nourished as well. So that was really important to me. Bringing it full circle, I started putting blends of spices and seasonings together that were my shortcuts in the kitchen for two reasons. Number one, because I needed to save time, even though I was at home, had to get dinner on the table every night. And that's a pressure that so many women feel because it's a reality. So I needed to save time. And then I also had my kids and my ex-husband at the time saying to me, you make the same chicken dish, but it doesn't taste the same because, you're throwing 6, 8, 10 things into a pan and blah. So one thing led to another. I created a spice blend. I had a neighbor say to me, hey, next time you make that garlic stuff, because, I'm sharing recipes. I'm like, I couldn't just share a recipe. I'd share, this little dime baggie of, all right, here's the garlic stuff, $10. One thing led to another. And before I knew it, I was doing the local cooking show. I was teaching people how to make good food fast and easy while nourishing themselves in the process. My product was flying off the shelves at every little event that I was doing, craft fairs. And they were joking, they called me the Mary Kay lady of food because I'd go to somebody's house because, moms are a little desperate to have a wine night. So it's like, all right, let's have Stacey come over and show us how to cook. We'll eat, drink some wine, and then we'll buy your stuff and leave. So I was like, this is great, and one thing snowballed to another to now we are a national company. We've sold millions of dollars worth of product, and it started in my basement because I found my passion, right? I really love what I do. I love being of service to people and showing people and inspiring them that getting dinner on the table every night doesn't have to be hard.
So let me get this straight. You're a mom, you're busy, you're burnt out. You make a decision that you're going to take some weight off, but food is bland and you want to bring flavor to it. So you find a way to literally spice things up. Literally spice things up. And you share your concoctions, you share your joy with others. And somebody one day says to you, hey, the next time you make that spice blend, I'll give you $10 for it. And a business was born.
Now, truth be told, I've been an entrepreneur since I was in 4th grade. But it was when I found this calling, and that's really what I have to say. It was really a calling. I just so loved what I was doing and being so inspired. And I still am by the emails that I get from people saying, hey, thank you for changing my life. Like I had no idea the impact that I would have on people. None whatsoever.
Wow. Okay. So you're making these baggies, people, you're hanging out with the moms, you're going, you're a stay-at-home mom, you're putting stuff, and then you become the local news channel cooking queen, essentially.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was like the floodgates just opened. You always say it's not the how, it's the who. And, it was who I knew. People from my past were like, hey, you're doing this. The cable show came about because I had someone that I used to work with 3 jobs ago, which, by the way, I'll also confess that other than one, I've been fired from every job I've ever had. And I think that's just, classic entrepreneur. But she's like, my husband works for cable and they're looking for a new show to do. I think this could be really great and you'd be really good at this. And I was like, I've never been on TV before in my life, but it just worked.
You were a natural.
I was a natural.
Yes.
I had no idea.
And you still are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so fast forward, your business is doing great. It provides for you and the kids. And then COVID hits.
Whew. Wow.
And what happened?
So COVID hit and, there was all this talk about these online businesses and people going to fail. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Because, I was single at that point in time and I was the only one with an income coming in. And I had 2 kids who were about to start college. And I'm like, whoa. So Lori and I talked about it and she's like, look, ride the wave. Let's see what happens. In a worst case scenario, you can always go out and get a job if that's what needs to happen. And before I knew it, things exploded. I mean, we did 4, 5, 6 times the amount we did in the previous years. And then the following year was even more. And there was just this surge of people who had time on their hands and wanted to cook, but also said, oh my gosh, this woman can show us the way to be able to do this. Like, this doesn't have to be so hard. And I had someone say to me, what you've done for my cooking is what an artist does to a blank canvas. So I have this blank chicken breast and you have this palette of color and flavor that you bring into my world. And all I need to do is open a can and sprinkle it on and poof, I have this amazing meal. And that was what I endeavored to do. Like, let's make this easy. When you're talking about good nutrition, and I just want to state for the record, I am not a nutritionist. I don't think you necessarily have to be a nutritionist to figure out what it is you need to eat to really take good care of yourself, unless you have a medical issue or something that requires specific attention. It's like when you put good things in, you get good things out. And those good things are whole, fresh foods. But let's face it, how many times are you going to stare down a chicken breast and salad and be like, oh, like I can't do this again, right?
Well, that is exactly what was happening in my household.
Oh.
My children were like, no, thank you, Mom. You burn everything. What you cook tastes like rubber. And so I had this core belief when I met Stacey that I was a terrible cook. I should just feed them chicken nuggets because there would at least be some nutritional value to it. And I, on the other hand, for my own nutrition, was failing miserably. So Diet Coke fueled me. My lunch consisted of a Diet Coke and a bag of pretzels. And by the time I got home to have some form of dinner, I was so exhausted, so undernourished that I would eat whatever was convenient. Maybe it was a bowl of cereal, maybe it was the leftover chicken nuggets, but rarely was it any sort of balanced meal. And enter Stacey into my life serendipitously by the universe when I met her at the quote unquote failed workshop.
Wasn't failure.
That the universe knew exactly what it was doing. And Stacey said, Lori, anybody can learn to cook and cook well. And she really helped me build my confidence with her simple techniques and this jar of magic that she sells. And so I started to cook. And before you know it, the boys liked what I was cooking. Michael and I were dating at the time, and he was like, did you make this? And it was shocking. Everybody was shocked. And so Stacey gets so much credit in my house for my turnaround with what I can do in the kitchen. And you should see me today. I actually have a sous vide that Stacey taught me how to use, encouraged me to purchase. And I can actually sous vide chicken. And
you make some great dinners.
Holy smokes. Yes. I've even cooked for Stacey at this point in our friendship.
Multiple times.
So that was where I was at. And so I personally have experienced what it's like to go from being this, worn out, not really paying attention to food, to really putting a flag in the ground and saying, no, I need to take better care of how I nourish myself. And that has made all the difference in my own weight journey, my own energy journey, my own ability to have a healthy relationship with my own body, because for years I was at war with my body.
And, let's face it, it is difficult at times to face down getting dinner every night. And it's so easy. And there's no blame and shame, right? There's no blame of, you're going to resort to having an omelet for dinner or a cereal, or you're going to dial out for pizza. But what I say to people is like, let's make that a choice and not an act of desperation. And so when you and I first met, if I may say so, you were fried. You were absolutely fried. Not only like so many of the people that you work with and coach with, being pulled in so many different directions, not even having anything to do with food, although you probably also had the added pressure of having to get that dinner on the table every night. But when you are stressed like that, the absolute worst thing that you can do is not fuel your body. And you don't have any reserves for anything. And that's really what I am all about. I am not a stickler on, make sure you eat this many grams of this and this many this of that. It's like, listen to your body and fuel yourself so that you have the energy, number one, just to exist, let alone face all of those challenges that you need to. And so that really is the passion that fuels me, is because I have seen what a truly complete and flavorful life that men and women can lead simply by nourishing themselves better. And it doesn't have to be boring. Like, you can have fun with food. You know me, I'm a total foodie, and yet I still managed to lose 100 pounds while doing this, So there is a way, and you can put yourself first, and you can take care of your family as well and really love what you're doing. And so that makes these little habits, right? So, you cook dinner one night and you got accolades and you felt better the next morning. And then, the next day something else happened. And before you know it, you just build what I love to call kitchen confidence. And so that confidence not only fuels you, but you're fueling your body as well.
Yes. Kitchen confidence. So let's talk to the woman who might be out there right now, or the man who might be out there right now, and they are fried. They're burnt out. They're running in 500 directions. They're overwhelmed. They have so much going through their mental capacity at the moment that they can't really keep up. And so when it comes time for dinner or preparing meals, they're like, I don't have the bandwidth for that. Let's just do what is the path to least resistance. Order the pizza, order the takeout, go through the drive-through, whatever that is. How do they start just getting started?
So what I encourage people to do is to make a decision, then get a little determined, and have a little dedication. So those are my 3 Ds, if you will. Now, what that means is maybe on a Saturday, you're going to make the decision that you're going to cook dinner once or twice this week. Don't try to do too much. Like New Year's Eve, I'm going to lose 100 pounds by May,
I'm going to cook every day this week,
exactly.
all 7 days.
So just make a decision that you're going to do that. And then pick out 3 recipes. Now, it can be so overwhelming online these days. So overwhelming. There are so many recipes to choose from.
But you make it easy.
Yeah.
You have libraries of recipes.
I have libraries of recipes. Here's my belief. If it takes more than a handful of ingredients, it's not worth making. Listen, if you're on the weekend and you're cooking for your family and you're going to make that special dish Michael loves, that's one thing. But it's on the weekend. If you're trying to be down and dirty and get dinner on the table quick and easy, like I have a stock grocery list that I suggest. Like get some chicken breast, something green and veggies that you love, and some sort of a starch if you're a starch person. Find a simple recipe from my website, and there are hundreds of them on there, which, do you want me to mention the website?
Yes, please.
So you can find it under my name, staceyhawkins.com, or even easier, just go to imakedinner.com and it'll bring you right there. And you can look through the recipes, are all free. I have a cookbook as well if you want a printed version, but I'm a big believer in giving you the information that you need. You'll take your chicken breast, you'll add a little spice on it, which, our number one selling seasoning is called Dash of Desperation.
It is my favorite. It's what changed my life. Dash of Desperation, because I was desperate.
Yeah. And so I named it that way intentionally because it's one of these all-purpose seasonings that makes anything except maybe chocolate cake, taste really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking chocolate cake.
Exactly. But anything else, go for it. And listen, as long as you know a basic cooking technique like saute, you're going to chop up the chicken, throw a little dash on it, take your broccoli and throw it in the microwave. When it comes out, I have one of my products. All of my products are spice blends. So I don't have tarragon or, something that's simple. It's just everything is in one container. So you just take a pinch and throw it on because it has to be a shortcut.
Yes.
Right. And everything has flavor. So even the oils that I have all have flavor to them. So orange, and roasted garlic. Yes. Those are the three that we have. So once you microwave the broccoli, you take it out, drizzle a little of the orange oil on it. If you're making a potato, or I know we love the packaged rice.
Yeah.
Which is so easy. You can throw some seasoning on that, plate it up. And I always love to show people how to plate because it's not hard. And when you put it on the plate in just the right way, it's a feast for all of your senses. And that I think is really important too. So imagine a pork chop, mashed potatoes, and cauliflower. It's on a white plate. Who really wants to eat that? But now take that pork chop and put it with a baked sweet potato and some broccoli. Now you're talking.
On a blue plate.
On a blue plate. Perfect.
Yes.
It's a completely different sort of scenario.
You have your family saying, ooh la la.
Exactly. I mean, you put that down and your husband's like, who cooked dinner? It's just Michael had said to you, sort
Is
of.
Is this HelloFresh?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. So, and you know what? I have so many funny stories and reviews that are on the website from people who are like, you know what? My favorite one was this woman who started cooking, and her son, he must have been young. She put the plate down and he's like, Mom, you became a good cooker. So
I became a good cooker too.
So, and you know what? That is one of those ripple effects. And I know that's something that you love to talk about is the ripple effect, because you put that plate down, and if someone says something to you, you just sit a little taller and you're like, I made this, and it makes you want to do it again because it comes full circle, because you realize that thing that you have to do, which has become just so hard for so many of us, it's become a chore. And let's face it, I mean, cooking can be a joy. You can find such joy in cooking. Even if you don't love the act of doing it, you love the act of putting it in front of someone and having them give you a compliment on it.
Yes. And the ripple effect of how they feel and that they're nourished, that you did a much better job than driving through a McDonald's drive-through and giving them,
I mean, it's soul satisfying.
It is so soul satisfying. And like we said, you said, you can start with twice a week as a way to just get started.
Mm-hmm. Or even once, whatever it takes.
Just to start.
Just to start. And that's all you need is just a start.
Yes. Yes. And it'll make all the difference.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know what else I love about this is in our hula hoop. And I often talk about our hula hoop. Mm-hmm. So many things are not in our hula hoop. People are not, our kids are not, our bosses are not, what's happening in politics is not, but we are in our hula hoop. Yeah. And how we treat our bodies, how we treat our energy, that is. And so how you shift your perspective with what Stacey has just shared is in our hula hoop. And so we can start small and make small little incremental changes that can really have a big impact.
Well, and let's face it, not only do we need it, because we really need to take care of ourselves. Nobody else is going to do it for us. We need to be the ones nourishing ourselves, especially, as we're getting older. We need to keep up that protein. We need to keep up that fiber and all of that good stuff. And again, it doesn't have to be like, protein and fiber. Like it can be really fun and delicious. But more importantly, man, you deserve it. I deserve it. You deserve it. Like we all deserve to live what I call the most flavorful life. And when you nourish yourself on the inside, you just blossom from the outside. Your skin feels better, your energy feels better, and you walk around a little lighter, maybe because you lost a few pounds, but also because you're doing good by yourself and by your family. And you now have the battle armor that you need to face whatever challenges are coming your way.
Yes. Change your energy, change your life.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So good. So let's get into how all of this ripple effect not only affected the people that you touched, but it affected your business in a substantial way.
Oh,
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So what I realized was that I went from a place of what I was chasing dollars in the very beginning. I was chasing the dollars. It's like I would go speak anywhere. I would like do anything that I could do, because after I got divorced, I had a choice to make. It was, do I go get a job or do I try to make this into a full-time income? Well, P.S. in the beginning, I did both. And then when it got to the point where like I was selling enough product to be able to be okay, that was good. And then when I realized, when I stopped selling product and just came from a place of service and passion and doing what I love to do, there was nothing I had to sell.
Yes. Yes. When we take care of God's kids, God will take care of us.
Very true.
Yes.
Yeah. Very
and
true.
That has been so true with you in your business.
Amen.
As you give, so the world gives to you. And so Stacey has continued to do this. So let's talk about the biggest myth that people believe about healthy eating.
Oh, that it has to suck.
Right? Right?
Yeah.
I'm going on a diet. I'm going to give up everything good in life. I'm just going to eat this horrible. I remember I had diets that were like the grapefruit diet or the cabbage soup diet. So, how excited are you to go on a diet like that when you know that for the next 3 weeks, you're going to eat nothing but horribleness?
Well, so here's the thing. I don't prescribe diet. I just prescribe health. And when you change that perspective and you stop dieting, everything else becomes easy. So when you eat good, flavorful food and you nourish your body and not to excess, which if I can just go off for a moment, I'll say a lot of us eat to excess because we're eating things that don't have the nutritional value that satisfies us. So when you sit down and you have a good, even if it's a protein shake in the morning for breakfast, and then you have a reasonable lunch, a salad with some protein on it, and then a great dinner at night, and you give yourself the nutrients that you need, you don't necessarily feel peckish to eat the bag of potato chips after dinner at night. So you have what you need, so you don't need to diet. And I'll tell you what, when I stopped dieting and started living, that is when I lost the weight. I wasn't neurotic. I wasn't focused on food. I wasn't thinking about everything other than to say, you know what, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to eat in a day. And I did it. So much so that I actually have just recently finished putting together a chatbot that helps people do that in a really amazing and encouraging way. And my bot's name is Lolly.
Lolly.
Yeah.
Well, none of us can wait to meet Lolly.
Yes.
So more to come. And you heard it right here first. Exciting. I love that. And I think that will be so beneficial because so many people that I know, women that I work with, are stuck in this rut of body shaming, not loving their bodies, wanting it to be different, but not knowing quite how to unlock that.
Let it go.
Yes. Yes. All right. We all need tools to get out of, again, our best thinking. Sometimes our best thinking can really get us stuck.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is the opposite. And I talk about this a lot in my coaching. This is where contrary action comes in. We have to do the opposite of our best thinking.
Yeah.
As smart as we are, as intelligent as we are, as much as we pride ourselves on being successful and intelligent women, in some instances in our life, we have to do the opposite. And this is a sensitive spot that in most times than not, we have to do the opposite because what we've been doing isn't working.
No. And a lot of times too, I think we are so busy with what we do that we get to the end of the day and it's like, what did I have for breakfast?
Did I even
eat breakfast? Did I grab something as I was running through the conference room? Oh yeah, I think I got a chocolate donut.
Yes. Because somebody brought them in.
Exactly. And you were hungry. And so your brain said, grab the first thing that's full of carbs, fat, and sugar that you can find because I need energy and I need it now.
Yes.
And that's normal. No blame, no shame. And so I think that's where something like this, a very simple to use tracker, comes in, because you need to know by the end of the day what you had so that you can actually measure what you're consuming. And listen, it's no different than a lot of your execs who are paying attention to the metrics. How come you pay attention to the metrics in business, but you don't pay attention to your own metrics?
True, because we know, you and I both know that the ROI of that is huge, enormous. Huge. When I did the same as Stacey and really started focusing on my health and my intake, the nutrition I was putting into my body, everything in my life changed.
The problem is that with a lot of the conventional tools that we have today, it's very tedious. Like scan a barcode, like figure out how many grams of protein are in this. And that I want to make it so approachable and easy to do. I'm a big believer in giving you tools and then allowing them to work in the way your life is, because that's reality, right? Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, then it's not going to work. So this, especially by using AI, like you just talk into it and you're like, all right, I had 8 ounces of almond milk and a scoop of protein powder as I ran out the door today. And she's like, okay, here's your total so far for today. Make sure you try to hit this. And what do you have in the fridge? I'll help you make some dinner. So
another simple tool.
Simple.
That's your theme.
Yeah. Simple.
Stacey and simple. Yes.
Yeah. But the flavor's anything but.
Oh, yeah. The flavor is so delicious. Yes. What has been also very simple is our friendship.
Oh,
such a blessing.
Yes.
And if I think back to how this all started, it was really this, mishap of a workshop that was so divinely orchestrated. And when I was at your son's wedding, I couldn't help but take it all in. Let me paint a picture for you, for those of you who are listening in. We're sitting in white chairs on a lawn. We're overlooking a beautiful lake in Alabama. It's August. It's steamy. And here comes the bride down the aisle with her father. I look up front and there is Chase, the groom, who I adore. He's like my own. Next to him is my son, Jackson, my oldest. Next to him is my other son, Bryce, the groomsman. And right to the left of Chase is my husband, who's the officiant of the entire ceremony. And, right in front of me is Stacey, the mother of the groom. And right next to the bride is Jackie, who I feel like I practically raised. That's Chase's sister, Stacey's daughter. And it was this whole moment of sometimes we choose our family. And that's what happened when I met Stacey. I was at such a point in my life. I had lost my mom. I had lost my job at Coke. And somehow the universe knew that I was like this buoy out to sea, just completely untethered. And that I needed a friend that I could just hook my wagon to, and her to hook her wagon to me.
Yeah.
And we did. We raised our kids together. I took those kids to school every morning. I picked them up, drove them to school every single morning, and I would get to hear all of the juice, all the tea. I would get it all. And that's how I just got to be such an integral part of their lives. And I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. And what a gift. And let me tell you one more little story. I left my job at Campbell's and I was now going to be a stay-at-home mom. And Stacey was in the middle of COVID. Business was booming.
But I was a little burnt out.
She had been literally for 18 months straight packing spice boxes, shipping them out printing labels. Like she was so shorthanded. She had done it all herself.
Yeah, because we couldn't work together.
Right,
So
right.
it was like 100 orders a day I was doing.
And so she booked herself a trip to Greece. And I quit my job and she says, listen, I booked this place for 2 weeks. Why don't you get yourself a plane ticket and come for a week? And I literally thought that the heavens just opened. She's like, I've already paid for the place. You just need a plane ticket. And so I got to go spend a week in Corfu with her, just the two of us, after I had just left my job to become a stay-at-home mom. And the funniest little quip from my then 17-year-old son was, so much for being a stay-at-home mom. You're leaving for Greece.
But, you know, I think when we take the time to put ourselves first and do things like that, like I really needed to get away and have this eat, pray, love moment, you know, things for lots of different reasons. But, and you were a little frazzled as well. So for us to be able to get out of our own environment and to shake things up a little bit, plus to have that one-on-one time that we had together, and we went through some really deep stuff.
Oh, yes, we did.
Really deep stuff while we were there. I mean, it was a mini retreat. So it wasn't a mini retreat. It was a full-blown retreat.
Like cleansing
so
in that Mediterranean Sea.
It really was. And we had some experiences. We had some amazing things that happened that only go to show that, again, you know, there is tremendous importance in having self-worth, self-value, and you know, it wasn't like we were treating ourselves. It wasn't medicinal.
Yes.
I'm not saying that to justify the trip.
I had no idea how burnt out I was
Yeah.
until those moments and weeks after leaving.
Right.
And then like my body knew, my mind knew, my soul knew. And so there was so much healing in that trip.
And to bring it full circle, you know, you talk about the water there, which is definitely magical.
Yes.
But the food there too played an instrumental role in this as well, because, you know, we could create a whole other podcast talking about the difference between food that's allowed in Europe and food that's allowed in the US. But it was the summer. Everything was fresh. We walked to the markets every day. We got to know people along the way. We made some amazing friends in town while we were there. Yes. And, you know, that really fueled us as well. And we had the opportunity to cook at night if we wanted to, or to splurge on the fresh fish and the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the feta. And I'm starting to drool just thinking about it.
Oh my gosh, the tzatziki.
You know, everything just, and it was fresh. And more importantly, and Lori, I think this really brings it full circle, everything was made with love and intention.
Yes.
And that makes such a big difference.
And when you pour in love, you know what you get out? Joy.
Absolutely.
You get out joy.
Absolutely. And I think that makes it even more nourishing. Again, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that is living flavorfully. Yes. We lived flavorfully that week, babe. We really
sure
did. We need to go back.
Every time I'm with you, I feel like I live flavorfully.
Oh, back at you.
That's what you bring.
Back at you.
Oh, this was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
So
before we wrap up, I'm going to do our rapid fire. I do this with all of my guests. Are you ready?
I think so. I don't know. Am I ready?
Okay. I customized this one for you. One meal you could eat every day.
Oh my gosh. Like hummus and veggies.
Right?
Just, yeah.
Delish. Charcuterie board. You're famous for those
that
too. What brings you joy outside of work?
Oh my gosh, I love to garden. I love to be outside in nature, anywhere that I can have my bare feet in the grass. Done.
Yes.
Yeah, done.
It's true. Favorite guilty pleasure snack?
Oh, dark chocolate. Oh, dark chocolate and sea salt. It's got to have some cypress sea salt on it.
Salty, sweet. Yes. Yeah. Most used spice in your kitchen right now?
Oh, really? Are you going to ask me that?
I know what
That's a loaded question. It's dash of desperation without a doubt.
Same for my kitchen.
See the jar right there?
Same for my kitchen. And then what's the one belief you had to outgrow to become the woman you are today?
That I'm not who I was raised to be.
Amen. We can outgrow that version of ourselves.
Yeah.
And grow into this beautiful version.
Oh, thank you.
So good. Stacey, it's always such a pleasure. I'm so happy to have you on the Joy CEO podcast. I love and adore you. And I think this episode will just be a gift to anybody who listens.
Well, Lori, thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute pleasure. I can't believe the time went by as quickly as it has, as it often does when we're together.
Yes.
And kudos to you for bringing all of this great information to all these people. And I'm so honored to be a guest.
So good.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye.